welcome to episode 18 of the F1 Grid Review. Today we'll be reviewing the Hungarian Grand Prix. This is Harsh and with us is Mihika. Hi Mihika.
Hi.
How was the race?
Honestly, it's gonna be the second best race of the season after the British GP. It had good enough drama. Max won the race. So I would say it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel did overtake two cars in one lap, so I mean, you're very happy with that.
I was really hoping that he would finish in points.
I mean, he did. He actually did look very strong, but I think if he didn't have that collision with Lance, he would still make it. I don't know if he did manage to like hurt his tires or damage his car, but the penalty also was obviously going to put him back.
Yeah, but he was already pretty behind. So plus the penalty was anyway bad, but like even if he would have finished in the top few positions, it would have still made a huge difference for his performance overall in the season.
Correct, for sure.
And we saw him, he had gained quite a few places in the beginning itself.
Yeah, he was almost light behind Lando for the longest time.
Exactly. And he was pretty good. He overtook both the Alpines together and was just bringing back the Baku overtake.
Yes, 3-in-1.
Yeah, so I genuinely thought he would finish in points.
Nice. But the race winner was Max Verstappen. He started P10, got a new engine, managed to spin 360. I think that 360 was just to make sure that he saw it correctly that Charles was on hards. He turned behind, saw Charles on hards, so he came back and started and again won the race.
It's as if his rear view mirror was not there at all.
Yeah, so he just spun a beautiful 360 and he went ahead and won the race.
And we saw both the Mercedes on the podium again.
They've become really strong. They've had some really strong races.
Yesterday, I've realized that now both Mercedes and Red Bull fans are together. Like they have no hate for each other that much because right now all they care about is that Ferrari shouldn't be winning. That's all they care about.
True. That's very true. So in Hungary, Max Verstappen surpassed the 2001 Formula One world champion Nico Rosberg, who beat Lewis Hamilton on equal machinery, and he became the 12th in the all-time laps led through the GP. That is actually pretty good for somebody who's not very new to F1, but still a very young driver. And already being in the top 12, top 11 is going to be fantastic, and it's only going to get better from here on.
And there was another stat by F1 Stats Guru. He said that since the past 3 pole positions of Nico Rosberg, Valtteri Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton, whenever they were on pole, Mercedes did not finish on podium. Red Bull did not finish on podium, but we saw Max Verstappen
breaking the
very well was on the win. Yes.
Of course he would. That also reminds us, Mercedes now have the same number of podiums as Ferrari for the season. That is 11 podiums each.
That's just
How is this happening? They have the fastest car on the track. I mean, they've been unreliable. They've had bad calls, but they're still the fastest car on track, and Mercedes is not even close to that.
But we know how the Ferrari strategists are, so
yeah, true, fair enough.
It's only making them happy that they don't have more podiums than Mercedes.
So let's see how the race went ahead. We started qualifying, which was on the Saturday.
George Russell had one of the best qualifying laps ever.
I don't think anybody expected that. Carlos put it on provisional pole and he was just waiting there and chilling, seeing what is going to happen. And you just had George Russell come in.
The first 2 sectors purple, and we saw Charles had the 3rd sector purple.
Correct.
And George had all 3 sectors green. I am 100% sure no one would have guessed that would happen.
It was just fantastic. Even like it's the same thing happened with Charles with Carlos when he got his first pole. He didn't have any purple sectors, but he had all sectors green. So yeah, that was pretty fun. So let's start with the bottom. You had Nicholas Latifi, who topped the FP3, but still ended up finishing
don't know how though.
P20. No, I do know how. He came out at the right time when the track was dry, and he did manage to have better speed. Pierre Gasly coming in P19, recently retired or announced his retirement. Sebastian Vettel, P18, Alex Albon 17, Yuki
Made a
Tsunoda
lot of
16.
fans cry. Made a lot of
Yeah,
fans,
yeah, we'll get to
including
that.
Harsh.
Yeah, we'll get to that. It was not a good time. So, um, yeah,
Alex also was in the third position in FP3.
correct. So both the Williams out in Q1. You had Mick Schumacher P15, Lance Stroll P14, Kevin Magnussen P13, Joe P12, and the shocking elimination of Q2, you had Sergio Perez P11.
It was
Uh,
very sad.
no, so I don't know what it was. So Perez just didn't go on the last lap. He didn't. He thought he had his timing for the top 10, but he clearly didn't. You had Bottas and Ocon who were both improving the times. So
Yeah.
yeah, there was no need for him to be in the garage at that point, but he should have pushed for another lap. You then have Max Verstappen who made a mistake in his first lap that he did, and during the second lap his engine just gave up.
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo who got to Q3 and P9, Valtteri P8, Lewis P7, Alonso P6, so that's Esteban P5. Lando forever having this fantastic one lap pace on Saturdays, P4. Charles
He's become
P3.
Mr. Saturday now.
Yep, he is. Charles P3, Carlos P2, and George Russell P1. His first pole. One thing that I really was happy for as a Max fan was uh,
Max.
the engine giving up in the second run. This, if they would have continued for another, he would have got pole, and this would have happened in the first lap of the race. So I was
Yeah.
just happy that it happened in the actual quali, not in the race. So yeah, uh, yeah. So anything else? Anything else you wanted to add about the quali?
No, overall it was pretty good. Just very happy to see Daniel in P9, even though his race wasn't that good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So are we looking at one lap pace at that? Sorry, if you can go back to that. Are we still looking at one lap pace and seeing that has really Fernando Alonso gone from P6 to say a P18 with the change of teams that he's announced today? For everybody who's missed out, Fernando Alonso has decided to go to Aston
That
Martin.
I feel it's like Aston Martin, no offense, but like Aston Martin is just like ready to take on people's careers just to finish it.
Yeah, so
I mean,
once
it's just pretty sad to see Vettel leave, and it's even more sad to see Fernando go from Alpine to Aston Martin when we clearly know Alpine is a better team
Yeah,
as
I mean, there are pluses and
our
minuses to that. This year,
definitely.
definitely Alpine has been the better team, but the amount of investment they have, Aston Martin is building their own wind tunnel. They have a really, really strong outlook to the future right now. But yeah, so you don't know how they're going to turn up in the next couple of years.
I mean, anyway, Alonso's gonna be in the sport until 2050. So I think he's just
Yeah,
trying
fair
to see
enough.
which team he wants to
Fair
retire with
enough.
at the end of the year.
Fair enough. And I don't think there is anybody who's as good as making bad team calls as Fernando. I mean,
Fernando and
Daniel
Daniel.
Daniel gives him a good run for his money, but he moved away from a two-time winning Renault to the McLaren, which was a great car, but it just was not going to gel with Dennis and with Lewis with that team. Then he moved to a really bad Renault, where he could have gone to a Braun or he could have gone to some other team. Went to Ferrari when Ferrari were not that great, and then came back to McLaren where McLaren was their weakest they've been in the last 20 years with the Honda GP2 engine that never really worked. So yeah, he is the king of bad decisions. I feel. So yeah, let's see
Yeah,
how
but
this will turn out.
even after that, he has his world championships. He has
Yeah,
enough number of wins
yeah,
and
he
podiums.
has he has the he has raw pace that nobody's gonna take him away wherever he goes, whichever team he goes. He's not going to lose his raw pace. So
I
that's
think he
never
likes
happened.
to challenge himself a lot.
Yeah, maybe let's
Because
we can
like,
we can
oh,
put it
this
that
team
way.
is not performing well, let's go there.
Yeah, let's put it that way. So yeah, let's see where our standings are. If we're ranking everybody based on where they qualify, I'm sure Charles is going to be leading this one again. Max has got close, but he's not got close enough. Yeah, so Charles is at 259, Max at 220, Carlos 171, Perez at 140. So the difference is also pretty stark between both the teammates. Uh, yeah, it's a pretty big gap. Similarly,
Yeah.
Mercedes don't have that big a gap. Lando and Daniel have a pretty big gap again. So, yeah, interesting stats coming out here. Moving
Okay.
on to our race. Yeah,
Let's start with the DNF,
sure.
Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah,
He did DNF last year as well.
correct. Last year he was a
Very
bowling ball. He
yeah.
just went into everybody. So that was
I
not
was
really a DNF, but
I really wanted a lot of rain so that at least one or two crashes happened.
yeah.
Yeah. But we didn't see that obviously.
Yeah, the rain just started after the checkered flag went down. So lucky
Yeah.
for the teams. Yeah, you had Yuki Tsunoda at P19, Nicholas, who was not the last person to finish the race, P18, Alex Albon P17, Kevin Magnussen P16, Daniel Ricciardo P15. Daniel Ricciardo got a 5 second penalty that moved him down. He was actually P14. Mick
Yeah.
Schumacher, Joe Vanu, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel getting the single point for Aston Martin this race. Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, who finished P6, not even P5 as I said, sorry. He finished P6, that was horrible. Perez P5, Carlos P4, George P3, Lewis P2, and Max P1. Yeah,
We see both the AlphaTauris did not finish in points. I think
no,
at least one of them have been finishing in points.
no, not really. Yuki's been doing well in
But
the quali, he's starting ahead, but then something happens in the race and they
yeah,
lose it. So they've had a really, really, really reckless or not a very good year for them for
yeah,
points. So yeah, they really should be looking to get better after the summer break.
definitely. Other than that, I think the only thing that I want to say is the 360 for Max and his win.
Oh
That's
yes. I
that
don't think
just
we're giving enough credit to Mercedes here because they've done a fabulous job to put it to P2 and
done
P3.
a wonderful job. I was like really very happy with both the drivers' results yesterday because it's so good to see them perform so good. Like
And a second podium, a second
it
double
wasn't
podium.
exactly, and it wasn't even a crash for Ferrari. It was just
Yeah.
a little bit mess up in the strategies,
No,
and
but
still they
they beat Carlos fair and square. I think they had nothing. Carlos had nothing going wrong
exactly it
for
was
him.
just Charles who messed up the strategy, but
Yeah,
still, it's both the Mercedes were on the podium.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Moving on. Yeah, this is very interesting. You see, everybody who went on hards really managed to struggle. It was so cold. There was no way anybody was getting some heat onto the tires. So you saw
yeah,
first it started with Alonso and Ocon. They both struggled on their hearts. Then it went down to I think Leclerc put it, Ricardo put it, Schumacher put it. Everybody struggled. Magnussen put it at when he got the black and white flag that he had to pit to repair his front wing after a collision with Ricardo. He did put in the hard tires, but they were so slow that he went up from P8 or P9 and he didn't ever recover after his pit stop at
yeah,
P14, 15. So the hard tires really did work well. We have no clue what the Ferrari engineers were thinking when they put. I mean, yeah, you have to have two different sets of tires, but why not just start Leclerc on softs? Even though they were used softs, why not just go for that? Why not? Why put him on
yeah.
hards when you clearly know the hards are not going to work? Pirelli set up
I mean,
their race strategies. They didn't have a hard tire in any of their race scenarios. Then why?
I also want to go back to the race, and I just loved Russell's start and how he kept these Ferraris behind him for quite
I
some
think
time.
at the end of the first lap, he had a 2 second lead. That's how
Exactly.
well he started.
like I was like very sure that by the end of the next few laps he would be overtaken by either of the Ferraris or something
Yeah,
would
but he
happen.
just kept keeping them behind in the softs. The softs really started to
Yeah,
work well.
exactly.
Uh,
And he was just wonderful. Mercedes was really good with their undercut strategy in the beginning. He came back on the top. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, actually, a very interesting pit stop strategies because I think that's what this race was all about. It was such a
Yeah,
mess and a jumble to see whenever you saw the timesheets because you didn't know what was happening where because everybody was on different tires and you didn't know if they were going to pit again or not pit again. People who were on hards, would they manage to stay from the 21st or the 23rd lap to the 70th lap, or will they again need to pit for a mediums? So yeah, this is very interesting and very hectic race to follow with according to tire strategy. So yeah, well done to Verstappen who actually nailed it with his strategies.
definitely. Okay, so
Oh
this
yes,
is
oh yes, that is 80 points. There is no way he's coming back. There is literally no way he's coming back. I mean,
definitely not
why are we going and wasting our time till Abu
impossible.
Dhabi? I think this is where it's all done and dusted here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be Vettel's last race for all the fans going over
Yep,
there.
yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
because
we
the
don't.
championship was decided for quite some time.
Yeah, but there's a very interesting battle brewing for P2, I feel. Like, I feel
Oh,
Hamilton, Sainz, Russell, Perez, and Leclerc are all in it, and everybody, I think, has a fair share to get to. The 30 points that Lewis and Leclerc have might seem a little big, but it's literally nothing. It's one DNF and that's done. So, I
definitely.
think it's going to
And
be a really tough spot.
we are seeing Ferrari not perform that good anyway. So
Yeah,
it won't be that much of an issue for the Mercedes or Perez in that matter to overtake them.
correct. Max is leading by 80 points. He can have three DNFs and still that will not affect him one bit. Three DNFs. Okay. I don't think he's losing this championship.
Yes, I mean, I feel that, Max was already prepared from last year because he's already fought one championship title.
Yeah.
Leclerc, on the other hand, it's his first time fighting for one. I don't
That's
think
what I
he's
feel.
ready
That's what I
for it.
feel that's what I think the issue is. Ferrari haven't won a drivers constructors in 14 years. They haven't
Yeah,
won a constructors championship in 15 years. So I think they've just forgotten how to win. I mean, it's in
it's
their
not even
DNA,
that.
but it's just
Like,
they don't know how to win or how to just
it's
stay
just,
at the top.
I feel Leclerc is just getting trained this year for like next year's drivers championship
But you can't be
because
training in
I,
a winning car. The car is genuinely a very good
of
car.
course, it
You
is
can't
a
be
very
training
good
yourself in a
car.
winning car, and it's not like he's not had this training. 2019 car was fabulous. He got trained under Seb. He was the second driver then, clearly because that was his first year. There was also a very good car. It was not a championship winning car, but that car deserved to be on the podium every week with the Ferrari with the Mercedes. But so he has that. He's been
But
in
we
a top
don't,
car for 2 3 years.
if we take last year's championship into consideration, we did not see Max or Hamilton make any tiny mistake, whether it is
Yeah,
a spin or strategy calls. It was always to the point.
yeah.
They
So
didn't let any single point get affected.
yeah, so that's what you have to do here also. Uh, one of Max's biggest mistakes, what I would say, would be his crash in the Saudi GP when he was almost going to be on pole, but he crashed out in the last corner.
Yeah,
He still finished P2 in that race. So
exactly.
like those are the things that these guys have to do if they want to keep staying in there. And Charles just isn't doing enough for me at this point.
Yeah, so even if he was still in the championship run, I would say that the championship was clearly for Max.
Correct. Yeah. So I think the constructors is getting a pretty tough for
Yeah.
P2 also at this point because, like we said, 30 points is nothing for the drivers. It's even less for the constructors where there are two people fighting for it.
I
So yeah,
genuinely feel Mercedes will come P2.
I think so too. Mercedes, I have a feeling Mercedes will finish P2, Ferrari P3. The Alpine McLaren battle also looks equally good. They had a 4 point gap going into this.
Yeah.
Lando got as many points as Alonso and Ocon got together. So they again have a 4-point lead. Daniel needs to really start stepping up and getting some points. We did see a different Daniel last time after the break. So he was hoping for more of that magic from Daniel and McLaren this year.
He needs to be on the podium too fast.
Yeah, so let's get that going. Podium might be a little difficult because the first three teams are
Yeah.
so good. So yeah, we can the top 6 finish, top 7 finish is also I think pretty strong.
Even when Ferrari was very good, every time they messed up something, Mercedes was ready to swoop in. So let's just hope something like that also happens.
Yeah, that's all we can hope. Red Bull's winning it for sure. There is no way Red Bull's losing this from that good a margin. Alpha is 51 from a ton of points Bottas scored in the first half of the season, the early season. Haas is 34. Alpha Tauri is struggling, really going down from P5, I think they were last year, or P6 to 27, which is really disappointing. Aston Martin is 20 and Williams is 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so there have been changes to this after the announcement yesterday. Today morning itself. You have Alonso, who was the last last predicted person in Aston Martin. You see, who's taken Sebastian Vettel's seat. Ocon is locked in, and we have a very strong feeling that Piastri will go to Alpine.
Definitely.
Yeah. I have a strong feeling that Daniel might be reaching out to Alpine saying, hey, we did really well with Renault in 2020 and 2020 in 2019. Is there a chance I can come back in? Is there anything I can do? I mean, he has a lock-in with McLaren, but the thing is, if he stays in McLaren, he's only going to stay for another year. I am sure they will not retain him going forward after the next season. Maybe he speaks to Alpine, gets a 2-year deal, so he gets his future secured for another possible year or even a 3-year deal. So, yeah, you never know. But because he has that power to say that he wants to leave the team. The team doesn't have the power to fire him enough. So, yeah, he's got that clause in his contract. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think there is any way he will want to go to the Alpine team?
I'm not sure if he will want to go because I feel he has been pretty vocal anyway about the fact that, he is very happy at McLaren, even when he was offered Aston Martin.
If you follow the 2018 season, he said the same thing with Red Bull. And in the break, he just came on and said he was leaving Red Bull, which shocked literally everybody in the paddock.
But I don't want to see him leave McLaren. I know it's gonna happen eventually, but I just don't want him to leave McLaren again because he anyway takes a long time to get adjusted to the car. Then he shows his performance. So if he does this all over again, even if he goes to Alpine next year, by the time he shows his potential at Alpine, it'll be too late, I feel.
Fair enough. I think it's a long shot, but even Alpine should be okay with having him and not Piastri.
And I feel Alpine was anyway waiting to get Piastri in the seat.
Yep, for the longest time.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen him wait for so long. So if Alonso is out, I don't think Alpine will consider anyone. And I feel Alpine will very soon, I think within a week or something, they'll just come out with their saying that,
announcement that Piastri is locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, moving on.
Okay, so the final segment.
Yes, let's get started with the final segment. So this is where we rank the drivers from the bottom to the top, depending on how they performed through Friday practice, Saturday qualies, and the race on Sunday. So yeah, let's take it away. Valtteri Bottas.
He did pretty decent in the quali.
Yeah, started P8.
Yeah, and I think he was decent in the race as well. So
yeah, not really great, but he had to DNF at the end. So a 6, a 5.5, 6. Yeah, Yuki.
Tsunoda. He didn't have that good a race.
I think all of the next one, Yuki, Latifi, Albon, Magnussen were just average at 4. I think nothing really to show. Kevin made it out of Q3, so maybe an extra point for that. but nothing other than that. Daniel qualified well. He had some good moves, but he did lose out a lot of positions. He got into a tangle with Lance. A 5.5, 6.
I would say a 7 because he before he went down, he was pretty good holding his
Yeah,
position.
but no points. P15, a 7 is way too high for a P15.
Okay, that also makes sense. So let's go with 6.
Yeah. Mick Schumacher
Mick had he was out in
got out of
Q2.
Q2. Yeah, got out of Q2.
He
Made up a
finished
position. Not
40th,
much
no
to not much to
points
say. Not much to do. We didn't see him a
for
lot in the race. 5.
for
Yeah.
yeah.
No, we did give Kevin a 5 just to get out of Q3. So I think a 5 also.
Okay,
Joe P12 ended P13. Also, I think a 5, 5.5.
yeah.
Pierre
Gasly
Gasly.
started last with his penalty.
Yeah, qualified. I
Um,
think didn't get out of Q3. Got himself up to P12 though. So I think that's a 6.
yeah.
I think that's a 7 actually. With the car he's had and getting up, moving 8 places also is a pretty big deal, I think. A 7.
True. Okay, 7.
Lance,
Um, Lance and Vettel. Okay, first Lance, we didn't see much. He did have a collision with Daniel,
correct.
but other than that, I would say a 5.
Yep, I think so. 5.5, 6, I
Vettel
think.
will get an extra point for getting an extra point
For the
than
end of the
Lance.
season also now. He'll just keep getting extra points. Yeah, fair enough. He finished in
Ocon,
the points.
yeah,
I think a 7. Ocon P5 had a great quali, but did lose out
yeah.
on some positions because of the tire cam choices that they made. Hards was really not gonna work.
I think Ocon and Alonso both will get a 6.
No, I think a little higher. Where I am gonna judge everybody on the basis of like if we win Daniel a 6 for P15, I think they deserve a 6.5, 7.
Okay, it was the tire's fault.
Yeah. Lando
Yeah,
started P4, had a great quali. Ended up P6, P7, which is I think the best he could manage from the car. So I
yeah,
think an 8. I think an 8 is
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Charles started third, had bad pit stops,
Yeah,
too many pit
P6.
stops. P6.
Didn't
I
even
would
have
say,
good pace. He didn't even have he on his softs. He was not matching Hamilton's pace. So I think a 7.
yeah.
Perez P11.
Perez,
Bad quali, but he did make it up in the
right?
race. Got a good start. Went up to P5. I think a 7.
7.5.
Yeah, 7, 7.5. Carlos.
Yeah. Carlos started second, had an amazing quali.
Yeah,
Um, ended P4, didn't have any strategies issues,
correct. But
but
he still was
still,
just not quick enough.
yeah. So again, a
8.
7, 7.5,
Yeah,
8, yeah.
7, 7.5. Russell was
George,
P1, didn't have the best of strategies because they could have left him out longer on mediums and given him softs
yeah,
like they did with Hamilton, and he could have ended up P2. I would say an 8, 8.5, 9. That was a solid
works,
performance.
works.
Yeah.
Hamilton
Uh,
started seventh, went up to the second position,
he had a
uh,
fabulous race.
8.5.
Yep, 8.5.
Max
Max.
is 10
No,
because,
no, 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 no. He did have a bad first lap in the quali. He could have got himself higher
okay,
up,
so then 9.
a 9, yeah, just because he messed up his first attempt in Q3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like other than that, he he had everything that went wrong, but he still managed to go back
Yeah,
to the
but
first.
I mean, he spun because of his own problem. So,
Yeah.
okay, so a 9.
Yeah, but I think he's been spinning since like 2016 for
Yeah,
funs.
yeah,
Uh,
fair enough. Uh,
yeah.
okay, that's it from the sixth episode. We have a long summer break coming up. We'll have some fun things planned during this. I don't want to let like not just do any podcasts in between. So yeah,
We
we'll
definitely
have
have
something
something.
soon. Yeah. Okay, so that's it
Yeah.
from this week's episode. Bye bye, Mika. Bye bye.
Bye.